Wayne Williams stands with his mother, simmering in silent rage. His father, a police officer, was gunned down without a second thought. Wayne's mother tells the young man not to be bitter, but Williams is frustrated with the state of his neighborhood that his father spent his whole life trying to help. The next day, Williams goes to work at a convenience store. He despises this job, but with his father dead, Wayne has no choice but to make what money he can. As he begins his shift, he notices a local criminal named Hans Horgrim walking by, when suddenly, Hans and his girlfriend are attacked in a drive-by shooting. Hans dives out of the way, leaving his girl exposed to the gunfire. Thinking quickly, Wayne rushes out and tackles her to the ground. For all his good deeds, Wayne is repaid with a smack from a jealous Hans. Hans reveals the reason why he is called Hans, and proves to have incredible grip with his hands, nearly crushing the hands of Wayne Williams. The next day, 3 armed men attack the store, with Wayne recognizing the voice of Hans leading the gang. They shoot Wayne's boss and knock the young man out, leaving a gun in his possession. His boss ends up blaming Wayne following the incident, leading Williams to be found guilty of armed robbery. In prison, Wayne vows vengeance against Hans for all of this. As the months go on, Wayne is assigned duties repairing prison uniforms, earning him the mockery of his fellow inmates and making him a target. But Wayne enjoys the work and gets quite good at it. To help cope with this enormous injustice, Wayne begins fixating on bats he sees at night flying around outside of his cell. It doesn't take long for Williams to befriend a bat by feeding it some crumbs, giving him a flicker of hope in this dark time. Months later, Wayne is brutally attacked when he tries to defend an older inmate. The man he saved is named Frederick Grant, who's grateful and encourages Williams to bulk up a little bit while he's stuck in here. It turns out they actually are living in neighboring cells, so that night they get to know each other. Grant was a scientist with over a dozen patents to his name. He tried to stop the factory he was working at from polluting a river, but was caught and imprisoned for industrial sabotage. Frederick also suggests that Wayne learn from his pet bat, as these creatures can surpass even humans in certain ways. Some of the inmates, impressed with Wayne's attempted heroism, agree to train him, and Wayne begins to become a formidable fighter, putting on muscle and learning self-defense. Eventually, Wayne is devastated to learn that his mom has died without anyone around to take care of her after Williams was imprisoned. Wayne doubles down on his vow to get revenge on Hans and his hands. Meanwhile, a man named Dominic Dark gives a sermon to a cult of followers. He proclaims it is time to swell their numbers with the hateful and vengeful. At the prison, one of Dark's followers lets the inmates go under the cult leader's orders. The prisoners try to attack the warden, but Wayne is able to fend them off long enough for the guards to arrive. A week later, Williams is pardoned because of his good deed. This infuriates Hans, who considers the young man a liability. Now free, but nothing to his name other than a pet bat, Wayne decides to settle for a time in a hotel room. He shaves his hair so Hans won't be able to easily find him, and needing to make some money, Williams sees some wrestling ads on TV. With his new skills in sewing learned in prison, Wayne is confident he can make a more memorable character than the ones he's seeing on the show, and decides to give that a go. Wayne creates the character Batman and goes to a local gym, quickly impressing some professional wrestlers he finds there. Williams quickly proves to be a rising star in the wrestling scene, as Batman becomes a popular hit, earning a dedicated fan base. Wayne soon finds himself in a position of wealth, power, and prestige, giving him the resources he needs to finally take on Hans with confidence. Wayne finds a now free Frederick Grant and asks the inventor to help him develop Batman into a crime fighter. Grant agrees and designs a cape that enables Wayne to glide, as well as bulletproof material and reinforced armor for the Batman suit. It proves more than enough to take on Hans, and with some quick work, Batman is able to force Hans over the edge of a building. The criminal falls to his death, damaging his hands. Later that night, Dark vows to continue his master plan, noting that Batman has unwittingly entered into a much larger game he is unaware of. throughout the city, word begins to spread of Batman striking out against Hans Holgram. Hello and welcome to Comic Island. My name is Arden, and this is my recap and review of Stan Lee's Batman. Well, thanks for watching this video. I really like this comic overall. It's the kind of thing that's fun for the novelty of it, even if this version of Batman maybe doesn't work quite as well or look as good as the original. I love Joe Kubert's art for this issue, but the design of Stan Lee's Batman costume leaves a little bit to be desired. It's all so deeply silly, but I do like that side of it too. Hans being the main villain of this story and there being a whole sequence showing off how strong his hands are was incredibly goofy, but also felt entirely up Stan Lee's alley. So sure, there's lots of parts that are pretty old hat, but I found it refreshing in that way, especially compared to other works being put out around 2001 when this first came out. It's camp, but it's that classic Stan Lee camp, and works pretty well in telling us a story of Batman reimagined. What I like most about this story is how it also just unflinchingly chooses to go for having Batman be a young black man from a poor family. That's another classic Stan Lee move, aiming for diversity while focusing on the working class and downtrodden of society without making a big deal or stink about it. It's just such a great showcase of what I like about the writer, even if there's some parts I don't. It's probably just me, but it's interesting looking at this thing 25 years after it was published and seeing how the culture has changed. And as much as this is a cool and different and unique take on Batman, it also really is just Stan Lee borrowing somewhat heavily from his ideas around Spider-Man's origins. Still, it's interesting and definitely worth reading. If you don't know, Stan Lee did these with a whole slew of DC characters with different artists for each title. So far I've read the Batman and Superman one, and they are both pretty good. They aren't game-changing new versions of these superheroes, but it's just really fun to see a big name in Marvel history taking a crack at DC characters and looking at what he ultimately produced. That's a cool experience for any fan of Marvel and DC comics, and most should be able to enjoy this book, which is why it's such an easy recommendation. That's all I really have to say on the matter. These Stan Lee books are all single issues, and though they're a bit longer than the typical comic, they really only have so much time to introduce these characters and ideas. So one downside is that there's only so much to them. It's cool we get introduced to the whole thing with Damien Darhk and the cult and Batman's larger role, but it's really just set up for a larger series, and there's something almost incomplete about that. I think the novelty and creativity of Stan Lee's Batman makes up for that, but I'm curious what other people think, so let me know in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep reading comics.